Well, welcome everybody to our helping mama be calm through it's the crowning. I got that it's the crowning. This is the hardest moment of birth and mom is going through it.
Mhm.
And I want to share three cards that I drew first. Um, my sister-in-law, I gave her a deck of cards about self-healing from um, Carolyn Miss a long time ago, this deck. And when I was there to help her, it was still brand new, never used. So I felt this was the most important thing to do today. So the first card I drew was accept life's challenges. We're definitely in a challenging moment right now. It's so intense everywhere. Everyone's feeling it. Everyone has it happening in their lives in some way. So we accept the challenge, and here we are accepting the challenge to be here now. So keep track of the waiting room. Okay, thanks, Kelly. Second of all, this card. Pay attention to your body. So we have to really pay attention to our body, what we're feeling, because our body is reflecting what mother's going through completely and totally realistically. And, think about your yoni. She is in that intense, oh my gosh, experience of birthing and the crowning that we are experiencing. And then the third card I drew was recognize your first thought. So whatever, as we go through these experiences, whatever first thoughts come to you, those are the clearest. Those are usually the most intuitive. They're the ones that will really help you um, in many ways. So we are here in response to a call to to go inside the imaginal cells of Mother Earth and journey with her as she goes through this experience. We can see on the surface of the planet everything that's happening, all the earthquakes and solar flares and volcanoes and warring and all of the trauma. It's everywhere, it's chaotic, and mama can use some help, just a tender touch, a calm word, a quiet heart. And so we're gathered here together to give that to her. And I just want to share about this kind of work that we're going to do, that Kelly and I did this work together before we ever met in human form. And when we met and we were talking about things we do, it was like, oh, that was you. Oh, that was you. It's real. It is real in these other realms. We have access to these other realms, and we're going to go into other realms to bring in the nourishment and nurturing that we all need in this realm. Yes, Kelly, you are on.
About that. My name is Kelly Butterfly Woman. Some of you know me, maybe some of you haven't met me yet. So, when the chrysalis is formed around a caterpillar, the imaginal cells are what change the life form of that creature into its butterfly self. And the earth is always going through changes. So are our flesh bodies and our energy bodies and every part of us. We're constantly rejuvenating and rebuilding. And this moment right now on the earth, where everything is kind of cracking open and there's a lot of energy pushing up, especially with things surfacing more than they have in some time, maybe even very long time. This is a moment when the energy of light that we're being called to ask for right now is that place of holding us in the chrysalis. And like Mayana said, that's also the birth canal. when we're being born, we're coming through the womb and out of the womb through the birth canal into that place of becoming. So it's always about this layer and aspect of becoming. But one of the things I want to invite us to remember about our own hearts and whoever you are, wherever you're coming from, is that we're all here on purpose right now with our light. And you are so precious and beautiful who you are. And I want to invite us to believe in ourselves right now in a very deep way as creators, as co-creators with the divine energy of light. What Mayana just spoke is so true. And it's vital and important right now to wake up to our creative power and our ability to know with the certainty of the light of ourself that we're here to fulfill promises. Like even in this moment right now, some of you might be doing things in this prayer and activity for the earth that you've waited lifetimes to do right now. And I want you to know you can believe in that. That is the power of the light. The light is the most amazing thing for us to be able to share our gifts with this right now moment together and make whatever it is that's needed happen for supporting life, for supporting peace, for supporting calm, succor, gentle, loving, healing energy to come in and be met wherever it's needed. So I'm so grateful that we're all here together to do a global prayer for Gaia, for our Earth, for each other, and for the world we're sharing and living in. And from wherever it comes in, from the galactic seeds, from the galactic stars, from our source to self connections, from the God source, from every part of creation by all its names, all of our ways and being with light and love to bring everything we can from our own sense of heart and harmony and connect and unite our love together right now. So I so appreciate your love, your light, and your presence for being here with us. And I'd like to offer, when you're ready, Mayana and all of you, some sound for that to just drop in and go into our hearts together right now. And is there anything that wants to be spoken before I begin that?
I'm just waiting. I'm trying to get someone in who's messaging. So let me get this. And it was a person that I removed from the waiting room.
Oh, earlier.
Yeah,
Oh,
meeting notes was a person. It was Andrea Galvin. I didn't know it was her. So we're trying to get her back in. So yeah, I think go ahead and I'll just watch the notes and thank you for giving me that moment.
okay. All right. So I've invited many people who couldn't be here with us in the moment to also join their prayers with us. So we are not alone. We have a whole lot of family who are in all over the world in various places, from the Netherlands to New Zealand, Japan, Costa Rica, wherever you're coming from, Mexico, inviting all of our families who are praying together with us right now in this moment. So we are uniting our energy to be a collective, and collective light is a stronghold, and strongholds create abilities for things to happen that ordinarily can't when it's just one of us. So our unified prayer is a power, inviting the power of that light unified to come together for us. From everyone who's joining us, thank you so much for being here and for being part of this collective, this intention of peace and love. So thank you. All right, I'm going to play harmony. So dropping into our hearts.
The roots of your heart just go clear down into Mother Earth. Just feel those roots going like a taproot all the way down into the core of Mama. Bring her fluids up through your very body. Feel the Mother Earth fluids filling your body. It's so full that it oozes out your skin, out your crown, and blooms all the way to the stratosphere. This change that we're going through is appearing to break apart in the crust of the earth, but really it's happening in the outer realms. And the crust can be eased with our care. What does it feel like to be inside an imaginal cell? Just ask that question as you sit in this realm. Mom is really ready for this kid to get out of her. She's like so ready. And we want a joyous birth. Where do you feel it in your body? In that place where you and Mother are one. What do you feel and know and hear and touch and see? And as we merge ourselves together in this one single intention, we entrain to one another's frequencies. And whoever in this group calling is holding the highest frequency is what all of us will entrain to. So let's see what happens when we each raise our frequency octave by octave. How many octaves higher do you go? What's your number? In my mind, I can imagine the octave by octave for about, to hear the sound for about 8 octaves. And then it just keeps going and I can't hear it anymore, but I know it's going. And those octaves are each a realm. So let's really enter that butterfly realm. Madam Kelly Butterfly.
Yes. Here we go.
Shianawe, Hikano, Enya Mafasha, Wes Yehota, Kwetan Maidaha, Ene Ho Hisatkava, Shinama Yasote, Huiho, 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 Huyitkaha, One Mahasi, Shanyam Kotavasi. Shanyam Kotavasi. Anama. Anama. I'd like to open the circle for each to share. If whoever would like to share whatever's on their heart about this kind of an experience that we're having right here, right now, just raise your hand and we'll let you share as you're ready, not call on someone before they are. So just raise your hand if you have words to speak for Mama or things about the imaginal cells.
Or if you want to share a song or anything really
Yeah.
from your
Yes,
heart.
please. Anything. Mother Becky Big Canoe. Yes, please.
So, greetings to everyone. Wow, what a fast so far, half of a year already. Wow. And everything out there is green and lush, but I didn't even get my garden planted yet. Oh, I don't know where you guys are, but it hasn't been like real warm. It doesn't look like it's gonna get that way in the next while. But my friend and I, um, we were just talking about like some of the activities that we could host on the land if we had some, eh? Like where we could go and stay for a little while and set up programming like for harvesting bark and like bringing out some black ash to make baskets and harvest some plants and things like just when you want to be out in the land. And we've had this land trust going for a few years, and um, one of the prospective lands that was going to be provided to us like by donation, that fell through just this spring, and it was kind of really hard for me emotionally. I was really kind of set back by, the hope for the opportunity to get into this beautiful land where there's a bit of rolling hills and some forest, and then sits right on top of the Oak Bridges moraine, which is like a big water reservoir for the whole Toronto region, eh?
Mhm.
And yeah, earlier in the winter, this local lady wrote a beautiful book about the history of that King Township. And she went right back to Ice Age, when the Ice Age was vast glaciers here. And they made these amazing deposits of scree right up against Toronto there. Toronto wasn't there, of course, but Toronto has always been a trading place for the Anishinaabe of many different regions, eh? They would come there and camp together and do trading and ceremony and business and talk about, you know, the Iroquois to the east and the south, the Delaware and Lenape people, they were like to the southeast. And across the Great Lakes, there was the Cree and the Lakota. And so they would talk about what's going on out there in their brother's country, what's happening, and talk about trade and tell stories and stuff. And so this lady wrote this amazing book. She's a historian and author. And I was reading through the draft because she asked me if I would like put a little piece on there to talk about our connection to the land in the historical part of the, in the past. And I was reading it and it was so good to read all that. But when the settlement began, some of my relatives, my ancestors were in that land and she talked about how they were there raising their kids, but then uh there got to be too much settlement and too much cutting of the trees. So anyway, it's a small part of the book, but it was like feeling like really connected to the past and like how we used to live in this land. Like she talked about the game that was once here and uh the kind of nuts and like it was once a Carolinian forest here. There was a big vast forest here. But anyway, it's changing. So I I take part in the design school for bioregional earthing. It's $5 a month, and Joe Brewer does 2 webinars a month, and we're talking about how to organize in a bioregional mind set rather than a political boundaries defined by other things, right? So they talk about how indigenous wisdom needs to be incorporated into this thing, and I'm agreeing with them, right? Like yeah, we can contribute some things, and we now have a group going where, like, um, we're working with the Greenbelt Foundation. They're updating the Greenbelt plan so that they can extend it for another 10 years or 20 years. But we've got pressures in Ontario. I don't know if anybody else is from Ontario here, but you know, our government seems to think he can just make a bill and allow himself carte blanche to development. And that's coming to my friends in the North region to like things the way they are. They don't want like their sacred sites and their rivers and everything affected by this development that they're so we have this new group called Indigenous Champions of the Williams Treaty, where we're pulling together our knowledge keepers so we can inform them and like be part of what goes on in outside the reserve boundaries, right? I mean, they say they respect us because we're reserves and we're here in Lake Simcoe, which once had the distinction of having the only provincial legislation protecting it specifically. But that ran out several years ago, and the Rescue Lake Simcoe Coalition has been trying to, continue to fight for the well-being of the lake, and that's like taking into account all the massive amounts of fertilizer, the development, the salt on the roads, road development, all that stuff, right? So this is all connected to Mother Earth. For you know, the development here is just crazy, but it's necessary. Like a lot of immigrants are coming here, so we need a lot of more housing, and but it should be planned well, you know, and not take over the farmland or the wildland, but it has to. So it's a constant struggle. And this summer we have lots of relatives have been flown in from the northern region or where the fires are happening. And what's up with the fires? Like very excessive amounts and conditions that are making them very hard to fight. Whole communities displaced into cities that they're. So my son is, am I taking up too much time, Louise?
Not at all. Keep talking.
Okay, well, so my son and my daughter both jumped right into help with the effort to make them feel more at home here. There's a bunch from Deer Lake, Webequay, I think, another one or two, and there could be more as the seasons go on, right? So, yeah, I was really proud to see them in there, like gathering supplies like clothing and toys and baby stuff and toiletries and my son is hoping to set up a sweat lodge ceremony ground at Springwater Park so those people can find some respite outside the city if they're stuck in Toronto for the summer. Very dangerous, eh? That's very dangerous for displaced people to have to come to like a major urban center like Toronto, right? So we're gonna try and bring them out to Springwater Park and set up some lodges, and I'd like to set up 4 teepees so people could just sit around the fire and be relaxed and not worry. And yeah. And then oh yeah, oh Kelly, I wanted to say thank you for that beautiful music. I never really experienced that. And I was thinking, is that kind of Celtic in origin? That
When
chanting?
I sing, I'm singing from everywhere. So it's like all my bodies. So it's Native American language, galactic language, angels, and people hear different things when I sing. So I just open myself up for all my bodies to share from my heart. I want to thank you for what you're sharing about because it's the real, it's what's on the ground. There's so much going on our earth that we all know about. And there's all kinds of struggles that so many of us are seeing in the world, things that we wish were different, and the conflict between the political fronts and things that are taking place, and authorities making decisions for us that we don't necessarily agree with, and many of us having to rally now, come together and fight for the things that we want to see be better or be changed, you know? And I
Yeah.
really appreciate you talking about the Canadian Shield. I mean, where you are and what you were speaking to. I'm so grateful. I met a druid who's up in Canada who works with the Canadian Shield and years ago sent me some dinosaur dust. And I put some of it in my garden this year. I managed to get some starts in barely. So I'm like,
Oh,
bless your
no. So
thank
cool.
but
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Hey, I went to Guelph Organic Conference in the winter time, and I took in a workshop on biochar.
yeah, yeah. That
That's
stuff's
a
good.
shortcut to helping your soil if it's gotten overstressed, eh? You should
Really good.
get
And
some
the
biochar.
he sent me from the Canadian Shield is magnetized and it brings the rain. And
Yeah,
what they found out from him was if you work with this certain crushed rock from there and put it into your garden to be a seed inoculant, it will bring the rain. It calls to the rain. So
it's
that
got those necessary minerals, eh?
yeah. So when
Yes.
humans knew this, they knew how to find the things that would help things grow. A lot of times they just threw seeds out and did wild planting, none of that row stuff. And
Yeah,
nature do what nature does, for
exactly.
and I
Yeah,
have appreciation for the wild. I believe it's
yes, you do.
protecting, right? We got to protect the wildness of our fairies in the world. They have a right to have their own place of
Darn
existence.
right. I was just watching a show about little people. I could send you the video. It's the old Ojibwe legends of Ontario, eh? It's beautiful. But I was
Uh,
just thinking about how a long time ago, I got what do you call it, agoraphobia.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
couldn't go out of the house without being very anxious. But
yeah.
those were the days when I would drink pop, soda pop, they call it, soda in the United States.
Uh,
And I found out that drinking that stuff not only is the sugar bad for you, but the way the chemical balance is in it, it pulls the minerals out of your bones, eh?
yeah,
That's how you
leech.
get weak bones. So um I was trying everything, every medicine people, I was going to sweat lodges, everything, trying to figure out how do I get back in normal, not overwrought with anxiety. Like a lot of people suffer anxiety these days, right? And depression.
It's
So when I quit drinking the pop, and what else did I do? Oh, I started taking this stuff called Natal that people were selling through multi-level marketing several years ago, right? And it's a densely mineral rich drink.
Mm.
You drink that for a little while and you get your mineral balance back. And I noticed the first thing I noticed was my depression and anxiety went way down.
Mm.
Like, they wanted me to go on these pills, and I was like, no, no, thanks for the pills. But once you remineralize, your
Yeah.
ability to regulate your emotional state comes back. So,
Yeah.
and then I learned it a lot more starkly in the last 2 years because I cut out all the carbs, all the seed oils, all the grains, all the fruits and vegetables. So mostly I live on meat, eggs, and animal fats. And I avoid the doctor because they're dangerous. So I've been feeling so much better, right? Like I dropped 80 pounds without trying, and my brain fog went away. All my joints didn't hurt anymore.
Mm.
There's a long list, eh? And so it's like they call it the proper ancestral human diet. And
Yeah.
you get all of the nutrients you need. You sometimes have to eat organ meats to fix it up, and then you have to make sure your salt balance stays good. And
Mhm.
that's how you take. I buy a packaged electrolyte mix.
Mm.
I drink a quart of it a day. That's about my limit. But yeah, my anxiety went away completely for the most part. But now I'm having where my perception of my life and the world has shifted to where I
Mm.
feel a lot like at times I feel spaced out, like
Mm.
here, but I'm also somewhere else. But if I just stay in the flow, everything will be okay. I'll get there, do the work, come home, be happy. So it's like I'm living in a different dimension than everybody else, but I'm still interacting. That's how I feel. I don't know about you guys, but something like that, and it feels really weird. Like,
I
Yeah.
totally
uh,
feel like I'm in more than one dimension at a time.
yeah,
And,
you feel that
and
too, eh?
yeah, and we hear a lot about that there's a split. There's Earth One and Earth Two, and there's a division. And Solara Anani did 1111 the gateway, and she opened all these gateways of energy, and then she finally just closed it this last year. And we really have made two different worlds, and we're seeing it clearly. We are a new species. We're not the same species as the there's just two different species, and one is
Yeah.
the killing and one is into living. And that's the way evolution is moving us forward. Everything that I'm getting is that the Homo sapien is dying out. It's killing itself. It's committing suicide by killing its brother. That everyone who is of that mindset is got, the
Interesting metaphor you just said because it's almost like it harks back to the original stories of the brothers, one good, one evil, and
yes.
it's still playing out the story to this day.
So
Like
so
it's with the
on
generations.
that story, what I've come to know about the story, that we in the Christian and Jewish and all that, it's Cain and Abel, are
Yeah.
the two. Well,
Well, we have that
Adam and
same
Eve,
thing here in North America. The two
yeah,
brothers they were here. Like there was
right.
an era, destruction, and another era. So there's different stories for each of those eras. The first, like the sky woman coming down onto the turtle's back, that happened. Yeah, there's stories about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you think about,
You know, Bill?
the Garden of Eden, that was a genetic experiment. And
Yeah.
and Cain was the first child of that genetic experiment. And he was a murderer. And he was preserved and sent out to spread it to everybody in humanity that was not in the garden. He was sent out. He got married in the land of Nod, where all the artists and the musicians and the people that we know and love were. And it was a virus that infected humanity. And now it's time for that virus to have run its full course and be complete and go away. And we are not susceptible
Yeah,
to the virus.
There's something
yeah,
else that
yeah,
really resonate with what you just said about the cleansing of a thing that is leaving us. The Divine Mother, who I commune with in my practice, shares a lot with me about that journey we're in with the big cleanup project in this universe, in this earth, in this arc. This earth we're on as a library for life force. In its origin, it was always that. It was a place for life force to be blossoming and for it to be recorded, meaning by existing here, it's part of an informing force for life force in a quadrant of creation in this galaxy, including our Milky Way and other parts of creation. Taking me into the stars, she showed me how our Earth here influences so much more beyond the planet itself. And right now, with our evolving cleanup project that she's helping orchestrate with us, is this very interesting phenomenon with people feeling like their bodies are morphing, metamorphosizing. So when Mayana and I spoke about this call, I went, oh, we're in our imaginal cells and that place where we start to actually transition from one body into another body of consciousness. And this morning before our call, I heard Deepak Chopra talking about this too, about how we are metamorphosizing into a new meta body, he called it. Well, there's actually, when the mother talks to me about it, she says that we're becoming various forms of elements. Some of us are becoming more like plants. Some of us are becoming more like some water. Some of us are becoming more like blood, plasma. And some of us are becoming more electric, energetic, crystal. And when we talk about starseed people, oftentimes we find those threads to those different ideas I just spoke to. And interestingly, many people I talk to who are coming from those various veins of consciousness feel like they're becoming those flavors of new bodies. And I think this time of change is amazing for all of us, exciting and in one way, while we're still seeing so much of the aspects of the shadow part of it that are healing and mending, it gets real intense when it's like it's I don't know, you think about a hairball, and a cat's burping one up. It's just the coq à l'orange that comes up out of the swill of things that are ending and healing. And
yeah,
hard to look at the world and trust that we're doing anything better or changing, especially when it's like, oh no, more of the same old story. So when we talk to a lot of elders, sometimes they're like, I don't see anything changing. And I'm like, well, but when I talk to the mother, I get another story. So I share this from a space of love that our evolutionary markers that we're reaching for as a humanity from her reflections to me are sustained love. And we move into a place of sustained love. The thing that's pushing us into greater light becomes wonder versus shadow. And when wonder becomes to be the thing that we sit in, you're holding your light in a place of purity. So, Becky, when you were speaking about sitting around the teepees and just wanting to relax, that's what that reminds me of. Sitting in wonder and being in a space of love to be held. And when we can do that together more and more, I believe we're going to start to create something new with each other. And the mother said a lot of us are going to bring it down from new creation, from something she said that has never been here is going to happen through us. And I think these new bodies and coming from that space of love is the key, is how we're going to find our way there. And I'm holding out for that, even right now.
I mean, that's true and
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
personally think it's the kinship weight that's going to be the new thing because it's going to teach us how to be relatives to one another, a
Yes.
family, right?
Yeah. New,
And
bigger
why,
tribe.
yeah, every
Yeah.
one of us will belong to a tribe, you could say, that spans the globe, is something like 670 million strong,
Hmm.
and wipe down all the nationalistic borders,
Yep.
all of the divisionary tactical weaponry that's been used against us all, can help us achieve whatever purpose we collectively want.
Yeah.
And for me, the center of my heart being is the well-being of the children, that they're raised well in the good way and taught ways that work to help people bond together as kin rather than, all of the divisionary shit.
Yep.
So yeah, like I like that. But when I think about what you're saying and like Western astrology, I'm a fire sign, a Leo, and
Mm.
there's traits attributed to that. Like there's a lot of good traits in a Leo, let me just say. But like in every person, there's wonderful traits to share, right? And so um, I think of myself though as much more like practical minded and trying to like devise a system that is fair to everyone, gives everyone a chance to say what they think, and um, decision-making models that are completely, you can't make them partisan, let's just say. Um, Kin groups living together in community will begin to learn how each takes responsibility for their, the well-being of their fellow kin and their whole community. And it's going to
Mhm.
be beautiful. As a matter of fact, I am, I am the fool card in the deck right today because, um, I decided about a month ago I wanted to go to Ireland to the World Peace Gathering for the Kindred Spirits who are sponsoring this conference, and all the big name national like Native people are going too, like Phil Lane and Pat McCabe and Lila June Johnson and Wayne Standing Bear, whole bunch of them. They got invited. Well, I saw it and I phoned them up and I said, like, hey, I'm going to come there too. All right. Because I'm going to launch the kinship way there for real on the ground. And that's, going to be the official date that it starts. And then, so I'm almost finished writing the ebook to explain all about it, why it came, how it came to me, and what I'm going to do, and all that. And then a landing website for people to go and put in their vital stats, you know, and then hit a button where you're going to get assigned a number, and that number will tell you into which kinship group you need to put your attention and find them in your local area or encourage people to join, go to do the same thing. So when the numbers are there of people who have joined a kinship group in a community, you can start to meet each other, get together, and say, like, you know what? I first of all want to be free, have the right to raise my kids the way I say they should be raised, not the state. All that stuff. Like, how do we want our society to be nice and stable so we can raise our kids in a good way, right? Just that.
Mhm.
And I think the whole system will foster the creativity, the getting along, collaborating rather than competing.
Yeah.
It can foster all kinds of new wonderful things. So I'm gonna
For
get
sure.
up there in front of the microphone and the people of Ireland and say, yeah, guess what? You're first, first in the
Yeah,
world.
you go. That's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Wonderful.
that's happening around the world, by the way. What you're talking about, just as a reflection for you to know, I see a lot of groups of people, they're creating hubs, networks in It's in particular with groups to come and meet each other. Even the grandmothers, we're doing it with our directory, and it's to create places where we can meet and connect. It's very important
Yes.
to have
We
Yeah.
that.
gotta start getting very mycelial, like follow the
Yeah.
mushroom.
Yeah, and it's
Go
really,
node to node and connect. Yeah, that's what everything we should be doing is doing.
you're in a
This
shared
that's
vision. Believe me, there's a
yeah.
lot of people having that same vision that you're talking about. And not to take away from what you're doing at all. The biggest thing about that too that I love is honoring our differences, being able to come together, honor each other,
Yeah. Never
different.
trouble another person about their religion.
You get to be you. You get to all have your own path.
Yeah, have your traditions. We can
So,
all have what we want here in this community. There's room for it all.
so
We have
I
the human spirit. Let's use it.
need We need you, people like you doing what you're doing, and we need us all collectively doing that because those are the bridges that create those connections that mother's telling me will make things happen in a whole new way. We're in a time when things are disintegrating. That means that there's something going away, but that also means there's something that can come and can
Yeah,
come.
Is
that's the
coming.
structure, the kinship way. Yeah, because otherwise everything can devolve into chaos.
We want to
Because
be
people
able to
won't know who they're supposed to follow.
well, what we
Right.
do and what we do want, is to sit in that place from the place of the all-embracing chief, the light that says, I love all the clans and all the people, and we all have a place,
Exactly.
and there's meaning
Yes.
for everyone here, and there's something for
Everyone concluded.
me to the table, and we want to be able to create a space where that could be met, heard, and find not only be heard, but be put with the people who will support you to become your best self or support your dream into a true vision to actually bring things into happening. So there's a place within those kinships you're talking about to go beyond just meeting, but into actualizing for and support of.
Absolutely.
And this is another thing that we're playing with one of my groups here doing this, with creating bees. We're calling them bees within our connected hive. They go out and like find the person who's come to the group and go, oh, you need a tractor. Oh, well, you need to go meet over here with Sally. She's got a tractor and she loans it out to local farmers. So, okay, you got a tractor without putting any money into it, without having to buy anything. So
Yeah.
oh, you need this. Oh, you need healing. Oh, well, there's this person over here. Oh, you don't have money? Oh, well, there's somebody over here who's gifting healing. We'll get you to the gifting healers. Okay, here you go. It's like what you need can be met and fostered. So fostering
Exactly.
each other to find that we're loved, supported, cared for, and valued is
Yes.
important.
That's what Mother Earth wants. She
Yes,
wants the children to get along.
yes.
Yeah.
And be
Yeah.
brothers and sisters from another mother because we're all one
Yeah,
in the
We're all
same.
from the same mother. We're
exactly.
all
We're
from
all from the
the
same
same
mother.
mother.
We got to quit our squabbling.
Yes.
So we're all here on the great big blue marble together.
Yeah.
And
Does our other friends in this circle have want to say anything? Like, sorry,
yeah,
we're
everybody else can
Yeah.
share.
monopolizing.
Raise a hand. Raise a hand out there.
Come and
Yes.
say hi, each of you.
Uh,
Yeah.
Everybody put your voice in.
No, and say hi. You're from Germany. Say hi from Germany.
Come on,
Really?
Simone.
I
Yeah, come
just
on,
was
put yourself
looking for
in there.
where do I raise my hand? You got
Hello,
me.
Simone. How are you? So
I'm
nice
good.
to see
I'm
you.
good. I was just listening. I think so several stuff you said stuck with me. With the development, it's not the development of the outside we need to do. It's the development of the inside. How we treat ourselves, how we treat others, how we treat nature. Is that what's really important? And even how we
Mm,
treat our children. You know, I was just reflecting around where I live, how things here are just like, whoa, 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 really? It's really hard to connect with people. Really to
Yeah.
connect on a level where you really can interact with them, when you can, be there for each other. I have neighbors where we have that, but they come from a different culture, It's like, I don't know what's going on with the Germans. There's a reason why I don't feel here at home. But at the same time, it's when I ask if I can bring in a change, it's like, it's not my job. Maybe it's someone else who has to do it. Because interesting was when I could really feel, and still can feel, Mother Earth. It's not Earth that is changing. She is bringing in all the love and pushing us forward to change. And that's why our people confronted, challenged, because they have to let go of the old way of living, where they are not connected, where the disconnection is. They are not connected with themselves. They are not connected with each other, not with nature, not with other humans, not with the animals. Because in the end, it's not everything is life. There's no life that is more than another life. It's all important. And I think the real thing is what we call society, with all the rules. It's not for life, it's against life. It's not nourishing us, it's not helping us. And that's the thing that has to change. What I got to know in the past, I worked with children, with small ones, and then I got into a training to help people in school. But the training afterwards, I noticed that's not what I want to do. I have to work in a way that befits the system. It doesn't help the children really. They need help. They are, with in this system with the school, what's going on? There's so many children now. They can't do well in school. It's not because they're not intelligent. It's just showing up. The change in the children that come to this earth is so different, so much beyond what was in the past, that it shows us this system doesn't work anymore. And nonetheless, still, they don't want to change it. I don't know what has to happen. It's for me, I really realize I have to let go. That's not my place to go.
We have
And
to create something new so the
yeah,
old can be replaced. And that's the call to keep getting new messages, to keep bringing the new actions, to keep being the new person, keep showing. We all know there are lots of different ways to educate, and maybe the destruction of all the systems is going to help us be able to do it the way we know is better. That's the destruction is happening. We can see it everywhere. Well, hey, celebrate. Okay, that's getting destroyed. Now we're on the ground floor creating something new. We're in the ground growing up something new.
yeah,
There
we're
was
getting there where we really,
in Germany too that I saw, Simone, that was alternative, that was doing really cutting edge stuff with teaching kids, that was really hot. It was so cool. It was so different. And I would say, Mayana, talk about maybe Becky too, talk about what it's like when you don't find the people who resonate with you, but you keep hunting until you find them.
I've been here in Virginia for 4 years, and everywhere we go, it's like, oh, we don't want these people here. Oh, we don't like these people. They're too. And 2 weeks ago, we were invited to a gathering, and everybody there were like, oh, it's family. And they're like, oh, we're having another gathering next weekend. Will you come and play your horn, Andrash? It's a memorial service for someone we never met, but it's a potluck and a picnic and a concert and, just people gathering and being together. And it was such a joy that finally to have a connection here. It's so hard to be on the ground and not be able to connect with the people you're around. And we bought a house where we could afford a house. It was only $95,000, but that means it's right in the middle of a rural area that's very Trumpy. And they know we're not. They can
No
tell
politics,
we're
please.
not. We're not that. And there's no question about it. We're not that. And it's really been a challenge to, I started a foundation to grow our county, and I tried to get people involved, and I made a little newsletter for 2 years. I delivered this paper newsletter around to all the little coffee shops and gas stations, and I wrote it, I printed it, I folded it, I stapled it and delivered it. And just after 2 years, when nobody responds, it's like, okay, I'm done. I'm not gonna, I just can't do that anymore. You didn't even have anyone help deliver them, fold them. I mean, come on. Oh, we love your newsletter. Well, oh, no, 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 you don't. And the stores are like, when I put an article about the grandmothers in the newsletter and said the Global Grandmothers Council Network, stores quit carrying the newsletter. They said I was a black witch.
Oh, wow.
Talked about that in church, about Mayana and her witchcraft. And I'm like, whoa. So,
Wow.
it's really interesting. How what do? You just keep being who you are.
Sounds like something from the dark ages or back in the Salem.
Yeah.
People are stuck somewhere.
You have to be able to realize that, to me, those are just the coughing hairballs coming up around you, and you don't let them stop you. And so I appreciate your heart, Mayana, for staying you in the midst of that disconnect, because it's really hard to not just shut down, and it begins to hurt you spiritually when you're not in any kind of tribal support, and we don't have it. It's very painful. And I really appreciate that you all finally had a breakthrough in your community. And
But
I was with you and praying for that. So happy that it happened for you.
I'll tell you though that the grandmothers and these calls and these gatherings that we've done,
Yeah.
they've nourished my heart. I've built bonds with people, and even if we're not in person, they're real bonds because time and space don't matter. And this is what has kept me going and helped me stay who I am and continue to grow even and not shut down and just
Yeah.
keep moving on. Yeah.
Bless you. Bless all hearts.
We're a hopeful bunch.
Yeah.
Hope.
Yeah.
So does anyone else want to put their voice into the circle and
Anything.
their heart?
It's just, you made me notice what helped me is I don't have that much people around, but since I stayed myself and went out and met people as just being me, I think that kept me going because I got, a mirror back what you said. I could see how people received what I had to say, how I acted, and how they gave it back to me in a way that they were grateful what I brought in.
Mm.
And it only came with last year.
Yeah.
And it's not that people stay, it's just, like brief connections.
Uh-huh.
That
Karen?
might be the case for here, that's my role here until I move on, because it doesn't feel like I will stay here forever.
Or
It
until
doesn't matter.
you can just wait to feel guided to do what
Yeah.
you feel compelled to do. I mean, that's what the heart's for. listening to spirit, letting yourself be guided. When you're supposed to lead or do something, you'll know. And if you're not to do that, you'll know. It's like just stay in that place of listening. It's really where you can be guided and taken. But keep looking for track.
I
Keep
think
looking
Karen is stepping in, and I think
here,
she'd like to speak to us, and we want to hear
here, and
Karen.
Can you hear me? My connection is so in and out. I keep getting kicked off.
We hear
And
you.
so I'm not going to talk very long because my connection just isn't solid. But that actually is an analogy for my life for exactly the things you're all talking about and being connected and knowing what my role is. I used to know, and in the last 5 years, I don't know anymore. And I feel very much like I am the mush in the butterfly. And I'm actually content with that. I'm watching, I'm waiting, I will see, and little pieces keep coming up about what I'm to do. And I do see myself in a 25-year window of final time. I'm 73 and I'm going to live to be 100. And so there's 25 years, almost 30 years there that I've got something to do and I don't yet know what it is, but it's different than I've ever done before.
hmm,
It's aligned with what's going on in the world.
beautiful.
Really good.
Yeah. Oh, she cut out again.
Yeah, we lost you. We lost you again. Oh, that was wonderful, though.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. That was lovely.
Alyssa, did you want to put your
Oh,
voice?
hop on. You want to say something? She's driving. Are you on your way to Colorado, sister?
Funny enough, I just passed through Vail, Oregon. So I'm
Oh,
on my way to Colorado, but right at the border of Idaho.
I know Vail well.
And I lost you guys going through the canyons I was going through, at least on Zoom, but
Uh-huh.
was very much connected with you in the heart and super excited this was happening where I was just driving through. There were dragons everywhere. And it was just really beautiful and amazing. So grateful that I can be carrying this energy on my road trip right now. Like, super cool.
beautiful.
I just want to say that that road between Boise, Idaho and Bend, Oregon, I have driven so many times since I was a child. And those rocks that you just drove through, those are my friends. And
Yeah, I know. They were all saying hi and they were super happy that, I mean, we were all together. So it was really good timing. And
those,
I can relate to the directional thing. I have been the mush in the caterpillar, and I just like came out of the cocoon not too long ago, and I'm flying to Colorado. So that's pretty, very awesome. And I feel super blessed. And there's been so many connecting points of alignment at the
Oh,
last minute.
talk about your van.
Yeah, so I knew I was going to Colorado. There's a wedding that I'm going to on Friday the 13th. And so I've known that I was going for a couple months now. And I didn't know how I was going to get there. I kept hearing that I'm supposed to drive, because I'm blessing the water and the rocks and the trees and all beings that call me in when I pass them. I'll flip around and go say hi, give them a hug or a stone or whatever. And so I knew I had to drive. I knew I couldn't fly, but I have a Forerunner that's a 2003 with over 350,000 miles. And I was concerned that she wasn't going to make it. And I was having some nightmares about it. And I wasn't sure if that was a fear-based thing or if that was my intuition. So I surrendered it to Great Spirit and asked for something else to present itself that was attainable for me. if my forerunner couldn't make it. I believe in my forerunner totally. But then I thought about if I had a horse and she was a 22-year-old horse, would I really want to take her on a 1,000+ mile journey? No, that would be cruel. So I turned it over to Great Spirit, and I just left yesterday. So Sunday morning, I got a message from a friend saying that I could borrow the van of his mother, who died traumatically in January. And she had come to me and told me that I could use her van and that I needed to talk to Steve. And I didn't know who Steve was, but it was her husband. And it was my friend's dad. And so he gave me Steve's number. And 3 days before I left, I was handed the keys to a van that is a camper van, not just a minivan, but a camper van with a sink and a fridge and a stove, and the tent pops up on the roof. It's got solar panels. It's like totally tripped out. It's awesome. And they said, "When are you going to be back?" And I said, "I have no idea." And he said, "Okay, well, you don't have a timeline as far as I'm concerned. Enjoy. And here's the keys." And
Oh,
I just am like totally so grateful, so overwhelmingly grateful. Such a blessing. And I really know for sure that I'm on the right path and doing the right thing, because everything just aligned at the last minute and I wasn't worried or stressed. Everybody kept asking me questions and I was like, I don't know. It's going to work out though. And here I am. So it's very exciting.
Great
oh,
story.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Way to manifest. Nice van.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the license plate on the van is 889 MFT. And my mom was driving behind me. She took me to pick it up, and she was driving behind me from Ashland on the way home to Grants Pass. And she told me, she goes, "Figured out the last license is infinity and beyond, manifested with faith and trust." So that was pretty cool for her to come up with.
Yo, mom. Wow. Well, what a
Oh, my
blessing.
mom.
Thank you for traveling through there and holding the light with us here from there. Perfect. Beautiful. Well, you all
So
like
we have
uh
Jamaica and Mary Jo, and we have Emily.
mhm.
Emily,
Anybody
do you want to pop in and say something? Say hello?
else?
Oh, us, are we up? I'm
You
not
are.
sure. Okay.
Run.
We're on. We're unmuted. Wow. I'm just kind of processing that.
Mhm.
As soon as we dropped in, the all I remember hearing is amniotic fluid, and I literally felt my beingness leave this physical body, and I was like pulled into Mama Earth, like I was in her, and I was seeing a yoni, a giant yoni, and I was being guided to massage the yoni and oil the yoni and to like prepare the yoni for giving birth, to help to ease the transition of what was about to happen. And then I got a few visions of a few volcanoes. I'm not real sure what there wasn't nothing like going off, but I was seeing like just volcanoes, kind of like, do they like popping of them, visions of them. Um, and I was getting very clear that the new earth is going to bring the unity that we're looking for, that whatever this may be, I don't really like. It's not scary, but it looked scary, but I know it's not anything scary, if that is just like the birthing process. Again, this is something else that Spirit has shown me before, but it was just like reiterated that things are going to look really messy right now. Like things are going to get really messy. That's what happens when you give birth. It is bloody and gory and icky and sticky, and but in that is life. That is the life force actually surrendering to that, and that is what's happening. And interesting, all the conversation about, us coming back together as brother and sister and the unity. And that's what I was being shown is through that is we're going to have no choice but to reconnect with Mama Earth. We don't have a choice. We're either going to reconnect with her and come through this with her, or we're going to return to her. That's kind of what I was, and not again, it wasn't anything like fearful and, it was just, this is the loving, this is what it is. And that's what I was really guided, is just to send that love and the peace and the calm. And then I was brought back to the yoni and massage the yoni and massage the yoni, so that we make this a smooth transition. The more we focus on preparing for the transition, the easier this will be. And and then we came, and I was channeling, I'm not sure really language wise, but I started channeling a bunch of stuff, started channeling through me, for sure. I'm not really sure what it was per se. It was just, it very much felt activation-ish, if that makes, like, it felt like an ancient appointment. That's the best I know how to describe it. It just felt like an ancient appointment. But as a matter of fact, even when I dropped in, I was like, holy shit, really? Right now? This is the day and time? This is when we're doing this? Really? Today? Like, this is it? Almost like I've been waiting for this. Like, yeah. So it was interesting. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that was my experience.
we talked about that a little bit at the beginning, about how some of us are here to fulfill promises. And that's what I believe prophecy is. So when we're here fulfilling promises, sometimes it's like we've waited thousands of years for this moment, like right now, because something in you just fulfilled a promise. That's really beautiful. And thank you for your service, and thank you for your light. Thank you for what you brought to our world just now, because that's what's making a difference, and how it's really starting to help it all change, is that we're bringing our gifts to the world and to this earth, and to our purpose in being alive here is met there. So it's vital and important to bring your gifts, Thank you so much.
And reminding us about the mother's yoni, and with that we have, and for mother's yoni to be tenderized, we have to tenderize our own, because we are her.
Yeah.
And we have to take care of our own. I was guided that this afternoon as well, but that's what she needs. So we have to really take care of our vessels. And in humanity, women have a tendency, we've not been taught, and we have a tendency to disregard and ignore and give away her sacredness. And it's so important that we cherish and treasure and nurture and behold.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Emily, do you want to share your thing?
Joe, Mexico has a hand.
Yeah. Me.
Joe. Sorry.
Second part of the duo here.
With Jamaica. Okay, sorry, Jamaica.
It's okay. So I'm kind of tripping a little bit, because I mean, usually it works this way with her and I, but I also was called to tend the yoni and to prepare it. And but it was given to me as very much like connecting with my own childbirths. And I kept feeling tense, like little tenses in my body. And I was reminded, one of the nurses, actually, she was my nurse for two, which were born 6 years apart, mind you. But this nurse for two of my pregnancies I was brought back to her and her holding my hand and just stroking it and telling me that when I felt tense, to relax my hands and to relax my forehead. And those nerve endings will help to relax the rest of your body. And so that's what I was doing throughout the meditation, was anytime I felt a tense, I would relax my hands, relax my forehead, and just picture her stroking my hand.
Mm.
And then after everything, it was I was brought again back to my own births. And the transition part is always the most chaotic. It's always the most seemingly like you want to give up. You just want it all to end. And then you receive your gift. There's that last push, that last destructive force that has to be expressed. It just has to be. And that was like super connecting. That's what we were all going through. And actually, during one part, I was guided to just kind of break, not my full concentration, but just my eyes at rest, to open them and to just observe the elements and what was going on around me. And what was crazy is even right now, we started getting these crazy wispy clouds. And I had to take a couple pictures and I'll show you guys in the chat, because they're literal dragons like guarding the entire area right now. But the wind. So we're at my mom's right now, and my aunt has these those little flowers in the garden that spin and like shoot out iridescent colors, So she has a couple of those, and I was tuned in to the iridescence of it. And even right now, it starts spinning one way, and then it stops and pauses, and then it'll start spinning the other way. And it did it throughout the entire meditation. And so I just thought that was like, right now it's doing it again. It was just so cool to be attached in two places at once, with the intention being the same thing. And so then that brought me with some of the meditations we've had with Kelly during our class, and bringing my my natural weaving essence into what we were experiencing. And so I was taking the core essence, I was told the core essence of the elements, and weaving them into our wombs. And that is what was connecting us. Now, rewind a few days ago during the full moon. Before that, I was telling Jamaica, I'm like, it really feels like I'm going to start my period. Like I was having all of the emotions, all of the physical, changes going on. But I had already done, my period's done for this month. Like, been there, done that already. And so then we went into, we're birthing the new earth, and this is all. And so then when you immediately started with that, like, you'll be feeling your changes, like, in your body is what Mother Earth's going through. And I'm like, holy crap, like, we're doing this. Like, this is it. Like, I was contracting. That's what I was doing. Like, I was with her contracting. It was amazing. So thank you.
Aw.
Thank you. Emily, would you like to pop in here? If this is Emily Morant, I'd really love to see your face. You beautiful soul. If you're present, we'd love to have your presence.
Yeah. I was gonna say, while we're waiting, Mayana was praying when she was chanting, and I felt that well of emotion with the mama.
Yeah.
The deep emotion that I'm feeling that you just shared, Mary Jo. I was really feeling it when Mayana was chanting.
Yeah.
Emily, come on. I saw you on mute.
Yeah.
Come on, believe.
Come on, Mama. Hello.
Gosh, my connections are very wonky. And I've been able to hear most of it, but I don't know.
You might have your hand over your mic. I don't know. We're having a little bit of trouble hearing you properly. Just notice if your hand is holding the phone or if you're on a phone. If your
It's just
finger is not.
that's why I wasn't going. I was listening. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Nope. Okay. Well, thanks for popping in anyway. Sounds like there's not much service where you are or something. So, what's going on, Mary Jo? What are you doing?
We have a giant doe just walked right up to our car, like right up to the side of our car and just my windows down too. I was like, oh, you're right there. Just hanging out.
Oh,
Thank
sweet.
you. Oh,
Aw.
interesting.
Okay, well, let's close it out, Kelly. I'll turn it to you for that.
All right. Well, I brought my drum down. So I think it would be good to end with just the drum. So, just in your own way, let's end with saying thank you. You can pray it in your own language, in your own tongue, in your own way, however that is. But I'm just gonna do a beat, okay?
Be with you all. Everybody be well.
I offered that beat in the 7 directions in honor of all beings, for all light, for all the families of life and light here on this beautiful, great, big blue marble we share. We all find our way to the heart. May we find our way to each other. May we continue to pray together and unite our prayers with the elder prayers. I ask everyone to keep doing that. That we create strongholds in the light when we remember to unite. Even if we're not in the same place, we're all praying for peace together. I ask that we all continually do that, and may we find our way to this time on our earth when we live in harmony and greater care, and everyone's housed, clothed, fed, no more war on our earth, and loving our mama, appreciating all the resources and the gifts of our earth mother, in a place of respect and appreciation. May we find our ways into these places that lead us to this greater self we can become together. And I pray that for all traditions, all ways, all people. And may we all find a helping hand when we're suffering. Will help us when we can reach out and be there for each other. Thank you for all the service and love you all bring. Big you are. Continue to shine, 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 shine brighter. Be courageous. Keep looking for people who connect with you. You know, it's hard sometimes, like a desert, and if no water, keep looking for the water. Keep looking for the water because it's all there. Don't let anything keep you from looking for it. Okay? And let's keep growing. Let's keep going. Let's not give up.
I
And
want to put Sandra Lobb in our circle before we go.
oh
Sandra
yeah,
is doing her play, Picking Up Stones, where she She has written and is performing a play from the perspective of a Palestinian and Israeli grandmothers both. And she's going to Israel, or she's there now. And she just went to Israel, Palestine, and Scotland. So,
And she cared about how the mothers, the grandmothers are speaking the story from both sides, the same voice from them. And I find that to be true in oppositional places throughout the world, that when we are in conflict with each other, often something driving both sides and feeding off the anger. So it really is about no longer being to feed the entity. And thinking about coming into peace is about choosing to honor our differences and love each other anyway. And it's really an important time for us to return to honor. Return to honor. I'm aware of it right now. That we can find our way to the place of loving each other and finding out that we all want the same thing. We want to love our kids. We want everyone to be well. We want to take care of each other and the life around. It's simple. Simple. Love and blessings on that. So,
I
Anna,
found the water.
how long?
Everybody say hi to the Snake River.
yes, yes. One time I saw the serpent rise out of the river.
Ooh.
And oh, it was just amazing. And I wasn't the only one that saw it, but the serpent flew up out of the Snake River as part of the Kundalini rising on Mother Earth.
Beautiful, you're there. Right?
Yeah, nice timing, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Touch the ground for me.
Otis, come here. I will. Thank you all.
Thank you.
That's the source right there. Thank you.
Blessings. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Becky. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Jamaica and Mary Jo and Simone. Thank you, Alyssa, for the sister call. And thank you to the grandmothers around the world praying for peace and all of our elders praying for peace in our world right now. Prayers with them now. Many blessings to the heart. Bye, you all.